He was tough and tall in a gangly, awkward sort of way. Years of axe-wielding and farming had made him strong, and tales of his bounding into wrestling matches and emerging victorious were brought to life in Henry Fonda's starring portrayal in the 1939 film Young Mr. Lincoln. As a teacher, I taught about Abraham Lincoln as a rough-and-ready pioneer on the still somewhat wild Illinois frontier, a man who grew up to be the greatest U.S. president. Of course, I also knew Lincoln as the commander-in-chief tasked with overseeing the Union side in the war between the states. That said, I remained quite ignorant of the extent of his early battles, physical and otherwise. It wasn't until much later in my life that I came to realize the horrific toll of the Civil War and Lincoln's part in it. Abraham Lincoln pushed, undaunted and uncompromising, toward an all-or-none conclusion, no peace without victory, and no victory without a vanquished enemy. His staunch position against compromise, or working across the aisle, deepened the scars and sharpened the pain from which the countryside and her citizens were left reeling. Talk about a fighter. Then there's Donald Trump. From my youth, I knew what had been plastered in the media about his larger-than-life persona, mostly as a New York City-based developer with grandiose plans linked to gorgeous high-rises and spectacular venues. My view of him, however, was more along the lines of, what outrageous fight is he taking on now? He seemed to have no qualms about saying whatever was in his head about anyone or anything, and at any time. His NBC TV reality show, The Apprentice, must have been the perfect outlet for his over-the-top personality. An aggressive boss in the face of conflict with his just plain harsh, "You're fired." During the 2016 presidential campaign, we watched Trump take down CNN in a doctored video from his WWE days. The late 80s brought Mike Tyson and Donald Trump together in the form of big promotion, hype, and a lot of controversy. It was in 1988 that Tyson hired Trump to be his chief strategist and advisor. So early in his career, Trump had close ties to the fight industry. Some of it probably rubbed off on him. You don't win a 4-year all-expenses-paid stay at the luxurious White House by going at life and political opponents wearing white gloves. Campaigning for the office of the U.S. presidency can be a dirt-thrown slog through a gauntlet of assorted enemy troops, among them stop-at-nothing political opponents and a press that is eager to take you down. Requirements for such a calling include nerves of titanium, the hide of a Little League umpire made thick by parental descent, the oratorical skills of a Winston Churchill, the courage of a stand-up comedian performing before a packed house of strangers, the resiliency of a Navy SEAL in training, and the cunning and pugilistic skills of a Muhammad Ali. Abraham Lincoln and Donald Trump fought the good fight. Trump still does. In their own personally modified ways, they did it better than any of their respective cast of rivals, a worthy comparison even if separated by 150 years. A hound dog media was hard at work in the Lincoln years, just as it later would be for Trump, and trying to hold together a bitterly divisive nation. Both Lincoln and Trump have been there, although the former had it in spades. The Civil War, remember? Donald Trump craves a good fight. He's never shy about mixing it up with political, media, or business opponents. He doesn't need a bar, he doesn't even drink, but he savors a good brawl, and battleground states are his forte. Just tell him it's impossible, and he already has a plan to get it done. During a March 2020 presidential campaign appearance at a Fox News town hall in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Trump was asked by an audience member about his controversial rhetoric. He responded with fighting words. "I wouldn't be sitting here as president if I had turned the other cheek. When they hit us, we have to hit back. I feel that. We get hit so hard. We have a media that, I'd say, to a large extent, is part of the Democratic Party. It really is. It's terrible. It's unfair. I call it fake news, and people are using that all over the world now. That's the way it is. If we don't fight back, you won't be a fan of mine for very long."